Nation. Gage is on his
That's us.
computer today, so you know it's going to be a fire episode. Absolutely amazing episode coming up for you guys.
My phone
Episode
has been
801.
taxed more than the middle class today.
Say again?
My phone has been taxed more than the middle class today, so I switched over to computer. I got 2% battery on my phone.
Politics? I'm not ready for that kind of expansion, Cage.
Why not?
I tell you,
We've
by
been
the
good at
inch,
it.
life's a cinch. By the yard, life is hard. What are you doing right now? You do this all the – oh, we're on record. I was going to tell you do this all the time. You try to do a million things at once. I'm not having this conversation.
So,
Do you know how many Alcaraz cards have sold on auction in the last week?
How many?
Guess.
8.
That's the exact number. How many are in live auction?
2.
How many were printed?
There were different kinds. I know there was one that was 50 count,
5,750 different cards.
but there was one that was out of 50, I think.
I went through every one. I did research,
Oh,
data. So, 9 sold, 8 active, 3 with no bid. The total supply is 5,750.
57.50, and 8 of them have sold. Of the 8 that sold, what have they sold for?
Do you want me? I have it right here.
Well, one of them appears to have sold for $21,000. I guess that's where you're going with this.
I'm going with, what's the true test of a market? Well, it's not one thing. It's multi-layered, right? It's supply, demand. But we know that best offer and buy it now prices aren't really a true taste of the market. You need to run them on an auction. Auctions give you a flavor, a taste of what the equilibrium, what the true price is, as long as there is enough time for supply to hit the market, right? You can't run an auction with a very small supply. What's that? 15 into 5,750. It's less than 1% available supply.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to give you guys some data because
But I think you're, look,
I'm
do me a
barking
favor.
up the right tree.
Send me $100. I'm going to send you this Coke Zero 2-liter bottle. Just flip it. All right? It has come in. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but the new price of Coke Zero 2 liters is $100. If you go to the store and find one for less, clearly it's a bargain because we just had a sale of this 2-liter bottle of Coke Zero for $100. Oversimplification? Perhaps.
The point is, guys, with new releases, don't just look at current price. Look at what makes up that price and how we got there. And it's a layered on, right? It's, okay, when was this released? How much time has it had to kind of acclimate onto the market? What's the available supply, right? How many are sold on auction? And if you take all that into consideration, I don't know. I wanted to put a bow on it today with all this stuff, but it's
a bow. It's a bow. It's a bow. Are you still angry about slab stocks? Is that what this is? That the way that kind of went down?
No, I'm not angry at slab stocks. I'm worried that people are going to get caught up in the hype machine and lose a lot of money.
If you want, they're probably not happy, and they have threatened to withdraw their support for the show. So if you want, I can message them and say we'll refund them the money for the Tiger that they never bought in support of the show. If you want.
Cage always has my back. If you guys are ready to fight, we're ready to fight. Anyway, amazing day, amazing week for you guys. You're listening to this 801. Yesterday, we had the Arena Club on, so
yeah, hey now.
Very interesting episode. If you guys haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it. Thursday night football game. Let me open it up to you. We got a million things going on.
Open.
Probably one of the busiest weeks we've had in a long time, right? Onboarding Cage and Cardboard. People are coming to us to kind of release the news into the hobby, which is flattering and a big responsibility. We still have a daily show that we have to do. I have kids screaming behind me. Football's in full swing. We had Champions League soccer today. Basketball's right around the corner. The Dow got crushed yesterday.
It happens.
You're looking at tax shelters.
I am. Financial literacy is something that you have to continue to study until you're basically in a coffin. You never be an expert at it. You can always do something more to learn, how to do stuff. Today, I did a lot of research. My wife decided to buy me a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And, with the proviso there that I will never really be a rich dad, but perhaps I can take some steps that set my children up to not fall into the same rat race, the same, path that I was steered down and that, she was steered down, where, you're taught basically go into debt and then pay that debt off. How that makes sense, I don't know. But that's it. Okay. Start your life off. Go do X, Y, and Z. Go get an education, and then you can then get a job to pay off that debt. And when the job comes, you can use it to buy more stuff and put yourself more debt and
then buy a house.
Buy a house. And so anyway, it's just I like reading and I like research and I I get immersed in stuff. That's all.
Do you think when things are going really well and people are making money hand over fist, buying something here, selling it there tomorrow for double, we're in hunter-gatherer mode, get. And when we feel that the tide is shifting, we're in preservation mode. Mm-hmm. Or how can maybe I'm not going to make money, but at least I don't want to lose it all, And
100%. And I mean, look, markets shift, markets change. Markets go up, go down, you name it. But what's interesting is, I like where we are. I like with the alternate asset classes. I like that we're kind of here with sports cards. We know people who do wine and Rolexes and bro name comes to mind. It's just fun stuff, man. It's just the world's very different than it was even a couple years ago, and it's going to be even more different a couple years from now. So I like it. The Dow having wild swings is nothing new. I don't. It's funny because, actually my wife came home yesterday and was like, oh, people were talking about how their 401ks, went down yesterday and did ours. And we're like, we don't know. We don't look. You know what I mean? Maybe it goes up in next week. Maybe tomorrow it'll be up as much as it was down. You drive yourself nuts looking at the daily. And you drive yourself nuts looking at the daily prices of Carlos Alcaraz. It's just what happens.
No, I'm really not upset with the Alcaraz thing. I'm curious. I'm fascinated, and I want to.
So slab stocks, I take it all back. You can keep your Tiger.
Slab stocks is a cog in the machine. He's a cog in the hype machine. I'm not mad at slab stocks. He should know better than to hype up cards that are never going to see the light of that price again. But that's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant at this point. I've made my point. I actually got a few messages from people understanding where I come from. They know I could work on my communication skills, and I'm going to get better with that. But they understand where I come from. Cage, huge matchup. Herbert versus Mahomes.
100%. 100%. Let's do it. I got my play.
Tell me.
It sounds like a lot, but 53.5 points is going to be nothing for these guys. They'll get it in the third quarter. Sounds ridiculous, but both teams going over 30.
Are you chasing after a tough week one?
No, my props.
Insane swings.
My props were good, but week one was nuts. It's not chasing. My Thursday, where I got to focus on one game, I killed it. You know what I mean? I had a great Thursday. When I'm trying to make predictions on the entire slate of games, it didn't go as well. But I mean, listen, long snappers and kickers. I don't know who could predict what happened. That was the wildest week one I've seen in a long time. But no, I expect a lot of points. As good as Mahomes was, the Chiefs' defense is not their strong suit. Kyler Murray did not have really any of his weapons. He definitely didn't have Hopkins, his main weapon, and that team didn't look good, and they still put up plenty of points. That game went over easy. Kansas City scored 40-something points. I think the winner of this game is going to have to put up a 40 spot. So getting to 53.5 is easy. The other team just has to score 14. And I think both teams score plenty. It may be one of those situations where
it's a classic. It's an instant classic.
Last team with the ball might win. And, that's good for card folks, right? Because one of them wins, the other one loses, but still puts up monstrous numbers, and it's not on them that they lost. That's okay. I mean, if somebody comes out and throws 4 picks, that's going to be a problem.
And they
I don't know.
circle that matchup later in the season, and they start marketing around it, and it's like the potential matchup for the MVPs of the league. You know what they do?
Yeah.
Week 2, who's the MVP? Mahomes or Herbert? 7 touchdowns versus 6. Quarterback rating 142 versus 141.6. ESPN loves this shit. ESPN, it's week 2. But
Yeah,
they
but
love
you got to do it. It's storylines, right?
I mean, you got to talk about some stuff. If you're not talking about slab stocks, you're talking about ESPN. Apparently.
Funny thing is, week 1, okay, week 2, that's like 10 games in the NBA season are now down. It's over 10% of the season.
Kyrie still wouldn't be playing at that point.
That's true.
Kyrie wouldn't even be at the locker room. He'd still be in Australia. He'd be like, I'll catch a flight in 2 weeks.
2 games don't make or break a season, but 2 games, football is different. Football's a different beast, right? I mean, it's 17 games now, so it's a little longer, but still, it's not 82. It's not 162. It's 17 games. You lose enough games, you could be in some trouble. So I just don't look. Both of those teams have great offenses, and neither of their defenses looked, unstoppable last week. They look like they obviously both were going to give up some points. I think they're both going to give up points, significant points this week. And I would even look into like odds on like an alternate line. Like if it's 53.5, go over 59.5 or 62, like something like that, and get some good odds.
Because if they blow through it, it's like they could really blow through it. The guy is a sharp KGB. I was thinking KGB.
Yeah.
You
KGB.
get it?
Yeah.
KGB.
Like yes. I heard a great name for like a podcast or a show, Ryan Ruocco, who I'm going to tell you something funny that could potentially happen. Ryan Ruocco, who does like some Yankees broadcasts and stuff like that, is on the Yes Network, and CC Sabathia. They do a show together, and they call it R2C2. Instead of like R2D2, this is Ryan Ruocco and CC, so R2C2. Catchy little name. The Ryan Ruocco thing came up, though, because John Sterling, who is the radio host, I'm going to really get you in your feels right now because I started with politics. I'll basically go right back to it.
No, dude, let's go. We haven't done one of these crazy off-the-wall episodes in a long time. You guys
it'll bring us into the Yankees and Trout and Judge and, home runs and the whole deal, right?
There it is.
Okay. So what's funny is John Sterling, the voice of the Yankees, right? He does all the big calls. He, a Judgy and blast, like he's got all these silly, calls. He's always messing the game up too. But if Judge breaks the Yankee and the American League record and hits 62 home runs,
okay,
right, there's a chance Sterling doesn't call it because I think 10 games from now, they have a series with Toronto in Canada. And John Sterling can't go to Canada, or he's not going to Canada. I don't know if they say he can't go to Canada.
He's not vaxxed.
I mean, no one's saying it, but that's the implication, right?
Did you see the Caleb interview of Aaron Rodgers where they did like the little skit? That was pretty good. Caleb's hilarious. Go on.
Did you see my post? It was CM Punk, but that was supposed to be Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm hungry. I'm injured.
I think you beat the news outlets to that because I saw that on yours before I saw it on theirs.
Yeah, nice. I did it quick. He looked like him. I saw that. I was like, holy cow, that looks just like Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, man. I mean, so you got that. You got the Yankees. You got Judge, 57 home runs. He had 2 yesterday. All right, so he's got 57 home runs, potentially hit 60-something. He's now, I think, 4th in batting, but like the leader in American League batting is 318, and he's batting 310. And he leads in home runs, and he leads in RBIs. His potential triple crown there, if he makes up a few points in batting average, can he hold off Ohtani for MVP? I mean, can you give Ohtani an MVP when his team is trash? He's amazing, but his team is trash. And he just won it last year. The Judge's numbers this year they're kind of too good.
I want to see on Card Ladder quarterly change on Judge.
All right, take a look.
I want to, because my theory is no one cares about baseball.
I mean,
they care. They care.
Judge specifically. When a Yankee does it, it's a different story. It's a huge market.
Okay, up almost 40%. Card Ladder index data up 41% from June 15th to today.
Well, there you go. Little baseball. Trout did not extend his streak to 8 games. That's kind of sad. It is what it is.
It is kind of annoying. You were rooting for him.
I was rooting for him, even though I'm not a huge Trout fan. I only own one Trout card. But one of the cool things about baseball, they have all these records. You know, and they have all these like, oh, this is a streak, and people know him, and Ken Griffey Jr. did it, and Tom Mattingly did it. It would be cool. Add Trout's name to it. You know, 7, Kendrys Morales did that. No one remembers that.
I know Kendrys Morales. He played for.
Did you know that he hit 7 home runs in 7 straight games?
Toronto and Kansas
Played for
City.
a bunch of teams. Yeah. Played for a lot of teams. Kendrys Morales. He was even on the Yankees for a little minute. But 8 would be cool. 9 would be even better. You know, and somebody, you know, hitting 60 home runs. What's amazing about it is last I checked, and you know these numbers, I think I looked 2 days ago. So Judge was at 57. I think Kyle Schwarber was second in the majors with 37. That makes it even crazier. It's like, you know, you look at the stats with Judge and with Babe Ruth, and it's like Babe Ruth hit 60, and the rest of the league hit like, you know, like 80 or something like that. You know, so it's weird. It's not juiced ball 60. It's not like, oh, everybody's mashing. He's got like 30 more home runs than the next closest hitter. It's insane.
How would
20
Ohtani beat him out for MVP? I don't get that.
Because Ohtani's doing something that's never been done, and his WAR is almost immeasurable because you have to look at both offense and pitching. I mean, he's got 30-something home runs and double-digit wins as a pitcher. I mean, talk about your contribution to that's if you're talking about what kind of value, who's the most valuable. I mean, he's contributing from 2 different ways. It's pretty crazy.
Can I tell you something? I don't love derived stats, right? Like a home run is a very specific stat. Ball leaves the park, it's a home run. WAR is a derived stat. It's like somebody.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. WAR. Good God, yo. No, that should be your favorite song. You obviously don't like WAR.
I could see being a huge Bruce Willis fan. Actually, it kind of makes sense. I could see
Bruce
that.
Willis.
Like Friends Bruce Willis, by the way.
All right, I like Bruce Willis. Maybe Rob Go will introduce us to him.
Oh, that's right. Rob Go did do it. How is our buddy Rob Go? Have you talked to him recently? Is he holding the mantle? Is he selling it?
I think he's holding it for now. You know, I think he's waiting for the next PSA 9 to sell for like $22 million, and then he'll sell his for 36. The PSA 10s will be worth like 60, 70 million at that point in time.
What?
You know, Ken Gold will own Varney. He won't have to like show up there. It'll be his show. It'll be Golden and Varney Incorporated or something. The market's just going to go nuts. I don't know. I haven't I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Too much soda today.
It's a busy week. The team, shout out to the team and how they're doing. Did you see their post of how many Luka cards are? Do you have any?
I have no clue.
So I'm curious. So the poll, it's 3 polls. So how many 2018 Luka Doncic cards are graded gem mint or better? Less than 20K, 20 to 100 or over 100. How many Luka cards in general are graded over 200K, 120 to 200, 75 to 125 or less than 75? And then how many total Luka cards have been printed, just in general printed cards of Luka? And less than 200K, 200 to 600, 600 to a mil or over a mil. Hint, it's over a mil.
I would imagine it's over $1 million. I mean, I have no clue. But there's a lot of great
I'm pretty sure they're talking about just the Prism and the Prism parallels, by the way.
Ooh, well, we should ask that. Get some clarity. Some clarity on the topic. There's a lot of cards graded, which is good. A lot of cards graded. A lot of cards. Speaking of.
Talk to me.
You see this 2021 medal release?
I know you've been flirting with it for a long time. It's been
like
kind
a
of
year.
Your enchanted rose. You've wanted it, and the day is here, and now you won't let yourself have it. You're depriving yourself of something you've waited for so long.
Let's talk about that, right? You know, I mean, should I just rip them all? Should I just grab Ian and just rip a ton of it and just rip and rip and rip and hope we get something?
Did you buy it?
Yeah, I got an 8-box case.
Oh, it's sitting in the other room?
I got it.
What are you doing right now on this episode?
I got it.
You guys who are part of this all day. You could tell he was like sitting on pins and needles. He's like, oh yeah, show. But there's got to be some sick shit in those boxes. What are they doing?
Pretty much. Well, I posted on my story. I posted on my story yesterday. I posted on my story. Hey,
if this was a Chick-fil-A sandwich, Ian, throw the box.
Throw the Chick-fil-A. No, they had friendlies. They had mac and cheese. They had some good stuff. I ordered a salad for myself, by the way. I gotta get back on the old pre-Disney tie-in. So I put a story up there. Hey, anyone want them? I got an $8 case. I'll be cheaper probably than most of the breakers are going to charge you. But I'm just curious. I wrote right in the story, basically act fast because the degenerate in me is going to want to open these things.
I'm going to put this on record. Cage hasn't looked at his phone. We're not selling them. And here's why. I've known you for a very long time. He does this because he really, really wants to help people. That's one side. But then the other side is going to eat that side when he finds out that the box he sold had like a Jordan numbered out of 10. And he's going to literally destroy himself in guilty conscience. So we're not going to allow that to happen. He's going to rip the box. He's going to get absolute shit. He's going to get mad.
I'm going to get even more pissed off.
but at least it's not regret. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the most pervasive?
Yeah, it's good.
Pervasive thing that you can live with is regret. And there is regret for things you've done, but there's regret for things that you've never tried to do. Don't live with regret. Cage, you can't sell it. You have to rip it.
Now, who says?
Who?
I know if I rip it, there's going to be crap. But I know if I sell it, whatever's in there is going to magically change, and it's going to be Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods autos, and just all kinds of crazy shit in there. 100%. 100%.
You're not a big ripper. It's what you do once a week. This is your guilty pleasure. You can't do it. If it was an issue, if it was a problem, we'd call 1-800
Mix-a-Lot. 1-800 Mix-a-Lot, right? That was one of the songs.
So what are we doing? 20 minutes. This is perfect. Guys, we have tons of content in there. Brian Cage and Cardboard's putting out hot fire. We have the Arena Club. We have
You are on this hot seat.
Yeah,
I say a lot of points. This is now you become your guy. Does Mahomes put a beating on Herbert? I know you don't like making predictions.
I really
Mahomes
think
is your
so.
guy.
I really think so, man. I just think that there's levels to stuff. I really do believe that. And I think he's in a category of his own. And I think it doesn't hurt having Andy Reid is a winner, guys. I've talked about him so much. I feel like a caricature of myself, but the guy has done nothing but win. Like, he's done nothing but win and take McNabb, who is not a very talented quarterback, doesn't have a good arm, not very accurate, doesn't run a great offense, and he led them to like 8 NFC championships and built and turned a losing culture into a winning culture. Now he has maybe the most talented player of a generation, and we're betting against him for the shiny new toy. I don't know. Like, all right, someone said to me the other day, I can't justify buying Mahomes when I could buy Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Fine, no question. But that's not the comparison we're making. If you want to buy Jordan, great. But we're comparing Mahomes to the other apples to apples, and that's the other quarterbacks. You either go Brady, Rodgers, or the young guys. You want to go Brady, I can't blame you, and Rodgers too. But the other young guys, it's not even a question. Like, the other young guys are priced as much, if not more, than Mahomes with a fraction of the resume.
Let me ask you a question, because obviously we started this off. I love the Mahomes stuff, and I love your comparison, right?
We've said it for a while. We said it before season.
So here's the thing, and I'm going to go back onto slab stocks because we love you guys. We love everybody out there. Yeah. I think what Andrew's trying to say is less about the Alcaraz, even more about the content that's put out there. I feel like there are people waiting in the wings to attack you if you're anything other than a cheerleader, even if you're cheering the lemmings off the cliff. Now, let me elaborate a little bit, and I'll do a comparison, right? Now, say what you want about both Slab Stocks and Cardboard Chronicles, Josh from Card Ladder, okay? But they just, both of them put out 2, what I believe, different types of content in the last 48 hours in this week, right? One of them is only hearing about it from Andrew. The other one had to just post something today and say, hey, guys, I'm getting a lot of bad messages. I'm just trying to educate folks, right? You want to buy what you want to buy what you want to buy. That's great. I'm not coming after you. If you want to invest and flip, and that's great, go do your thing. But I'm going to give you actual data. It's a different type of post, right? And sort of like what Super Trout added onto the Alcaraz, showing you what a Sampras sells for, right? By comparison. So Josh Cardboard Chronicles, if you didn't see his post, I don't think he should apologize for it. I think he should do more of it. I messaged him actually and told him I like the stuff. I made a little joke about it and said that, did you see my little stupid meme?
I did.
About,
I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to
know,
interrupt you, but like I'm nodding along, and I've seen his post. I'll have my comments too.
So he, I made it like, hey, he's pushing people while they're down, like knocking over people while they're injured, like the Trey Lance collectors and the guys who had a bad week one. That's not what it is, right? At least I believe, right, that what Josh is trying to do is he's uniquely situated with a data company that has all of the data about what cards for unproven commodities, riskier plays are selling for, and then has in his story compared them to what that person potentially could be. At least that's my summary. I'm probably not doing it justice, but it's like, oh, this guy, he might go to a Super Bowl. This guy might win an MVP and go to a Super Bowl. And you compare it to Matt Ryan. This guy, wait for him to win a Super Bowl. And you compare it to Matthew Stafford, who literally won the Super Bowl last year and is going to the Hall of Fame. This guy, he could definitely win an MVP. But
Jay Cutler? Jay Cutler?
I mean, it's like
Joe Flacco. These are like accomplished guys. Like, it's not like they were terrible quarterbacks.
And I saw another post. Now, listen, Aikman won Super Bowls, but Aikman, I got to tell you, as somebody who was a kid collecting when Aikman was around, he was never thought of as the top quarterback. He was a system quarterback with a great wide receiver and a great running back to carry him, a good defense.
Obviously, there's going to be nuance. It just adds color.
No, but think about it. Like, when you do comparison, like, I think the most expensive Aikman card was like the PMG that sold for, I don't know, it was $7,000, $14,000, whatever the hell it was. Yeah. Like, less than the Alcaraz card. I know I'm crossing sports here, but definitely less than Davis Mills.
He compared it to the Davis Mills card.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's understand what's being told there. That is not a post for everyone to go running around with their hair on fire and say, look at these negative Nancys. They don't understand how the hobby works. Like, it's Andrew is in a fun position. He could tell you this happens with other asset classes. It happens with crypto. It happens with GameStop stock. It happens with NFTs, right? It happens when everybody's kind of like, groupthink. To the moon, to the moon, to the moon. But ultimately, somebody has to get left holding the bag. Steve Aoki eventually buys in and everything goes down.
He's the exit liquidity.
Right? I mean, that's...
So, you know what's more painful than story posts that disagree with your views? Losing a fucking ton of money and having to pay rent. That hurts a lot more. Like, I don't know what we're even talking about anymore. Like, losing money hurts more than hurting someone's feelings comparing one quarterback to another. And you have to educate the younger consumer who are just in here for the first time, or they're going to lose their shirt and then never come back. It's really not rocket science.
Guys, one day I'll do some nice content for you and show you my Drew Bledsoe collection. And it is completely worthless.
It's completely nice content. We joke. We have cigar night. We laugh. We
like, you know what I'm saying.
You got to be real. You got to be like, yo, I bought this at the peak. Here's what I learned. Don't do it too.
But I think it comes from a good place, right? And it comes from somebody who, like I said, has the data to back it up. And I think it was done in a good way. And, I think it tells a story that maybe people don't want to hear. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Look, I've been called such a negative Nancy by so many people when I come out and say, be careful with Mac Jones. Before the season, I said, be careful with Mac Jones, be careful with Trey Lance. Listen, I'm pulling for everyone, right? I want everyone to make money, but everyone can't make money because everybody's paying top dollar. Everybody's paying. Basically what we're doing here is we're paying for a win ticket on a horse race that hasn't happened yet. And not every horse can win. Some horses are going to come in last. Some horses are going to get injured.
So this is an interesting subject. Do you think cards are a zero-sum game?
No, they're not. Definitely not. But I do believe that there is a huge premium put on modern stuff. And I'm not saying you can't buy something now or before the season and make money on it. I want to make sure that's 100% clear. And I'm sure Josh wasn't saying that either, right? But ultimately, the difficult part is if you buy a Patrick Mahomes card now, let's use Herbert. You buy a Herbert card now for $10,000. And middle of the season, he's doing great. $10,000. Middle of the season, he's doing great, Herbert. And you sell it for $18,000. Sure, you've made money. They made a lot of money. There's nothing to shake a stick at there. But ultimately, the person who's holding it for $18,000, they're buying it because they're hoping to do the same thing you did, right? And in order for that to happen, the second half of the season has got to go as good as the first. Probably have to win some playoff games and maybe the Super Bowl. And if it doesn't happen, that's going to go back down to 10, maybe less, right? So sure, you can buy it at 10 and make some money if you find somebody to sell it to, dump it. I don't want to use the word dump because I'm not calling anybody a pump and dumper. There's different strategies. There's different ways to play this. But just watch how that's done, right? The people who are out there buying Jalen Green right now, okay, take some snapshots of their story because they're talking about how great Jalen Green is. They're buying Jalen Green and hold those snapshots until a month into the season or a week into the season when Jalen Green has his first good game. And those same people are going to be listing in their story those same Jalen Green cards that they're buying today or last week or last month for sale for 20% more. That is a difficult – it's not a zero-sum game because that person's going to make some money. But ultimately, at the end, I'm not saying the person who buys Jalen Green doesn't – if he goes and has the most ridiculous season in the world and, wins the MVP or, whatever it is, great. But look, it happened last year with Ja. People bought Ja leading up. Then in the beginning of the year, he had this otherworldly performance, and people sold his stuff and made money from the run-up on Ja. But anybody who bought Ja at that peak is now underwater on Ja. Ja's stuff went down, even with the great season that he had.
Luca Nation, I'm curious what you guys think. So let me know in the comments. I've been thinking about this a lot. I really don't have an answer. Is our cards a zero-sum game? And I'll explain for you guys out there that don't. Zero-sum game is, for me to benefit, somebody has to lose. I'll give you like the example of real estate, right? Real estate isn't a zero-sum game because let's say, take out a loan, buy land, build a building, and I sell it to someone. Now they live in it, and I profited, but they get value too. So I took profit because I took the risk, et cetera, et cetera. They get benefit because they have a place to live. The city gets a benefit because maybe I build a nice place with cafes and stuff like that, retail. So now there's jobs and business and all that. That's not a zero-sum game. So that's win, win, win in its best case. Obviously, there's nuance. In cards, we don't have that. So I've been kind of theorizing, are cards a zero-sum game? And I'm curious what you guys think. It's a very interesting subject that we have a lot of really smart listeners. I'm really proud of the community we've built. DPZ said this, like, Andrew, you see the community? It's like real estate developers, lawyers, doctors, financiers, bankers. I honestly learn a lot from you guys in the comments. I read all of them, the positive, the negative, that I don't agree. Let me know what you guys think. Is it a zero-sum game?
I mean, all of the it's not, because you're lumping all the cards into one category, right? And
are you saying vintage isn't because it has the collectability, and Jordan insert is people love it so much?
Some of them. I mean, if you look at look at there
so
are
it's not
some
a
cards.
zero-sum. So it's not a zero-sum game if it lands in the hands of a collector.
That's part of it. It's not just one card lands in the hand of a collector, right? I mean, like, things do go sometimes up too high. Like the PMG Jordan Red, I think, is a very good example. Obviously, there's 90 of them, the whole deal. Yes, I should have bought that one instead of buying the PSA 10. That said, I wasn't saying that when the Jordan was selling for $700,000 and it made its way down. People are now, saying that the PMG Red is a $500,000 card. It ran like crazy. The next person who buys it might be buying it for less. That person who buys it for 500, 600,000 because the one that sold for a ton of money was jersey number is 23 and all of a sudden, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that may. But I think if you pan out, that 520 in 5 years might be low. There are certain cards like that, like Mantle. You and I have talked about Mantle 52 tops. Over time, it's you pan out. It's at its high right now. Yeah, and you might be right because it's run a little bit in the last couple of years.
0.0001% of cards aren't zero-sum game, but the rest are. You could kind of 99% of our audience can't buy those.
That's cards. Only because 99.9% of cards have been made in the last 2 years. Look at the post we have about Luka. Cards are different now.
I wouldn't say 99. I'd say 80%, maybe.
Whatever. I don't know, man. They're making a lot of cards now. But yes, Upper Deck did, obviously.
By the way, Cage and I, we realized we're different type of investors. Cage is a contrarian. He loves to be first.
Yep.
I'm a momentum buyer. I love riding the momentum. I don't want to be first, I don't want to be anyone's first. I don't want to be anyone's last.
We've both been right and wrong on it in cards, in NFTs. I mean, I watched you buy stuff as it was running up and just you basically buy and 20 minutes later sell for thousands of dollars more. Literally.
It gets me. That was NFTs during like the stupid. I'm blind, the blonde hair beanie guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's insanity.
Stupid
weekend. But by the way, that's the same kind of thing, right? I'm going to buy this for $1,000 and sell it to the next guy for $1,500 20 minutes later. That's kind of what's going on with modern cards right now. And believe it or not, Josh is not saying that. He's not saying you can't make money. He's not saying don't buy, stuff. He's just saying, hey, here's the data. Just extra stuff in there before you spend money on what this guy could be. Your hope is that he turns into Troy Aikman. Well, here's what the most expensive Troy Aikman card has ever sold for.
A very iconic set too in a PMG. I guess National Treasures. All right, yeah. I thought Josh's post gave context. It was interesting, and I don't always agree with all their stuff either. And LeBron doesn't make his teammates better, Josh.
Oh, you have to. Nothing does.
The first time Josh ever yelled at me. We didn't know each other. He thought it was a clickbaiter. He thought it was It was not. Our content. Gavin posted it mid-episode to prank me.
It's not clickbait. These are his actual takes, and he stands by them. LeBron's growing on you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think, and it's on us. Like we have to.
It only took 20 years.
We have to. This is an opinion show, guys. I just wanted to be clear. It's an opinion. It's an opinion talk show. It's never gonna be like Anchorman reading a teleprompter. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be good at it. I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
So like, it's just an opinion show, and obviously, I think that's the beauty of stuff is having different opinions. That's why. By the way, that's why I don't get mad at new companies coming in, like those posts. One of the things that people don't realize is, let's use Alt for an example. I think by objective measures, nobody can say Alt has been successful. First, it was the data stuff when they were stealing people's data to sell it. Not a good look. Allegedly. Allegedly buying cards on eBay, running them on liquid auctions. Okay. But all that aside, look at how many employees they have. Wow. Look at how many new people they brought into the hobby that may have never been in the hobby. So we talk about like media and Gary Vee and King Golden and Drake bringing people to the hobby. Really, what brings people to the hobby more than anything is good businesses hiring people. They hire people from Nike. That's a culture. And they're like, hey, come work with us on cards, right? They got an investor, Alex O'Haney. So like, even with these businesses messing up and doing some crazy ass shit sometimes, they have the benefits of drawing a crowd, drawing people into the hobby that might have not been collectors otherwise. And those people are the families,
Companies make mistakes, and the next company that comes along learns from those mistakes.
Capitalism,
you know what I mean? I mean, this is the way that it works, and we, the consumers, are all better off for it. You know what I mean? So that's why we kind of try not to shit on stuff that comes in. Tag, you're it. But, everybody's got their own. Everybody's got their own thing. Everybody's got their own way of doing it, and people learn from prior companies trying to do it their way.
Tag would be sick in Chicago because, like, if you guys haven't been to Chicago, honestly, you could shut that road down in between like all the shops and the convention center. Like, that's just one. It's not like that would be epic. That would be chaos, but it'd be so fun.
Now we need a groundswell. Everybody needs to message Tag and tell them they need to set up a game of tag at National.
I feel like Whatnot would be a part of that too. They would have the little ice cream truck right there.
I mean, we've done this now 801 episodes. I've had some ideas that eventually, if one of them doesn't happen, like if Fanatics doesn't give me Frism, if Tag doesn't give me a tag game at National, like what am I doing here? What am I doing here? I mean, I have no shortage of paper company names. Somebody's gonna do one.
You know what's interesting about Fanatics? People you see this in politics a lot. We get very excited about voting the current person out.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that the next person could be infinitely worse.
Seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake.
But we're like, anytime there's like even he's out. Josh Luber's out. Like and it's like, have you thought about what if he hasn't even been in?
What is he? I mean, he's done like two things. Leo, let's not throw him out yet.
Is even worse by your standards. Like, have you floated that idea by your standards? So it's just very interesting how human psychology is like, he's out. I was like, what if this guy or gal is infinitely terrible?
It's kind of the way that it works. It really is. It's kind of the way that it works. I got to tell you, if there's one thing I'm looking forward to when we let it go, I'm looking forward to maybe getting out to some more shows. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to meeting some of our folks who might not have seen us at National, might not have seen us at at Mint Collective. We'll definitely be at Mint Collective again this year. Definitely be at National again this year.
Guys, we're lunatics. I just realized something. We literally negotiate value in for you guys in lieu of money. Wow. I just realized that. I was like, we just negotiated 3 cigar nights. Hopefully, I always think everything's going to go wrong, so just understand that. But
in addition to Mint Collective and National. So we're talking about like NFC holders, possibly you.
And it's like, that could be a vacation to Mexico, like with my fam. But like, it feels like the right decision. And that's, by the way, the value system. Like, we're bringing in new content, new talent, people who help the talent thrive, Shane and Alex. That goes all the way through our organization. It's like, make money through service, make money through value, grow the hobby, and we'll benefit. Because I don't want it to be a mistake. Like, I want to be rich. Like, I think the community knows that. But I want them to be rich too.
I'm already rich because I have you.
It's actually true. Like, you're rich the minute you decide to be, and you're happy the minute you decide to be. I'll let you guys know when I get to that lesson. But
no flowers for Cage.
Well, I'm still a starving artist. It's like,
It's all right. You got time, man. You got time. So does everybody listening to this. And guys, listen, we started this. The market was in a different place than it is now. I mean, there were picks and plays abound and all kinds of craziness. And the market has evolved. It's gotten different. And it's going to continue to evolve. And more companies come in, more money comes in. We're going to have story time. We're going to have stuff that we think about this stuff. As Andrew says, it's an opinion show. But I hope you guys are still having fun. I hope our content every day is still fun for you. For those of you who do it on a treadmill, this is a little bit of a longer one now. We're into the 42-minute range, which is good. But we're always open here.
One play. One play. How about this, guys?
Well, I was going to say, send us a DM if you want to hear about something. Send us, if we're not talking about something, please send it. We'll talk about it. Go ahead.
One play stood the test of time. It's unbreakable. Anti-fragile. Mookie Betts, Prism, draft picks.
Because they were $1.
Infallible play. Yeah. Right?
They were
Hey, Andrew, you won't believe it. Mookie Betts Prism cards are like $1 on eBay right now. I just scooped 49 of them.
Just put a ton. I'm going to talk about this on the show.
I would have bought all of them, but I want you to get some too.
Yeah, well, you try. I mean, some calls work out. Hey, you should buy this Top Shot that somebody asked us about on the show. Some don't. Hey, you should buy as much Panini as you can.
Well, that was a bait and switch. That was what you did there was worse than what they did to Papa John's to get him out of his company.
Oh, okay.
You bait and switch. You hired a marketing company. Like, Panini Direct is where to go. While this guy was gobbling up World of Women. In my vault. Cold storage. Yeah. You like that Jason Kidd 20th year purple prism, Andrew. That's good. Hold it. Men's World of Women. Do it, Andrew. They're cheaper to get into Panini Direct after he's done the women.
Yeah. That would be great. That would be funny stuff.
Dude, the funny thing was that was the day that I was flying to National from Mexico, and there's like this 3-hour customs line. So that's infinite opportunity to rip packs.
Oh yeah, I bought plane Wi-Fi to rip them on the plane. So I'm with you. Don't worry about it. I get it. I understand. And no airport stories enough. Guys, if you're new to the show, maybe you're coming over because you were a Cajun cardboard fan and you haven't heard us, or you just, you've joined the hobby recently. I got to find what episode it is. We got to go find it. You may know. The Andrew Airport story may be my favorite episode ever. That may be my favorite. Andrew with the drug-sniffing dogs. Losing his ID. I mean, that was amazing. You remember that with your Uber driver? You remember that story?
That was
jogging.
not a flat. That was not a good trip for me. That was culture collision. That was not.
Culture
I
collision.
did not show out on the basketball court. I did not sell a lot of cards. My bets were terrible. Lenhart hooked it up though. We went to a Hawks game.
There you
That was
go.
sick. Hawks have a cool little like. It's a small stadium, and there's like this access. It's not VIP. It's just interesting. And underneath is a buffet, unlimited food and drinks with a
Come.
wristband.
I'm coming next year.
Yeah,
Just
but
give me a wristband.
it's not like you're sitting on the court and it's just like this one pretty sizable section. Incredible.
I'll
Literally
take it.
incredible.
Let's go. I'm not playing basketball though. It turns out we have some good basketball players in the hobby.
Yeah.
I'll be embarrassed. I don't want to be embarrassed. I want to be dunked on.
Cards are cool.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is, 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com, or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.